What's good, YouTube? It's your boy JusticeXFalls. We back at it again with another video. We got another IGN first video to look at today and react to. Rebuilding the plasma cutter. So that is the iconic weapon that kind of changed the game for first-person shooters and survival horror type games. So we're gonna go over the thought process of the developers and how they, redid it. So here you go. So without further ado, let's get to the video.
It's rare that a pistol gets to be the star of the show in a video game, but that's exactly what happened in Dead Space. The 2008 survival horror classic made the plasma cutter that shoots vertical or horizontal projectiles
2008, that still looks good to me.
The most essential tool for dismembering your necromorph enemies. When it came to remaking Dead Space, developer EA Motive knew that it had to do right by this iconic weapon. And so, it's exactly as you remember.
Got the ocean spray on
Who wants to change the plasma cutter? It's perfect as it is.
White cranberry.
Anybody that played any Dead Space before, remember that weapon. Remember the distinct click, click when it turns. Remember the sounds of it, the impact of it, just how it feels playing with that weapon. And so for us, it was really important to keep that memory.
But while the form and function of the plasma cutter is just how you remember it, the weapon model itself and all its rotating components had to be completely rebuilt from scratch
you have to.
in EA's modern Frostbite engine.
You have to.
With the visual
different
fidelity,
engine,
both in terms of graphics but also in terms of animations that we have today. We had to go much more in detail in terms of concept art on how that thing actually works. What is each pieces? What are those little elements really doing? Whether or not we're using that afterward in game, we had to really define how that thing would move and behave if it was a real tool.
Real weapon, yeah.
It's not just the gun model that's brand new though. EA Motive has overhauled the weapon upgrades, and so the plasma cutter has a few new tricks up its barrel.
Every weapon has an upgrade part. So every weapon, you can find a new section for the weapon that you can plug in it, and physically it attached to the gun. So we have added all those functionality that look logical to the gun and that have a function.
You gotta have the workbenches.
One thing we've been bringing from Dead Space 2 and expanding a little bit on, it's the concept of special upgrades. So one of those upgrades coming straight from DS2, it's the fact that when you shoot with the plasma cutter, if you have that upgrade, the limb of the enemy that you shoot at is gonna catch fire, and so it's gonna burn the
Oh, incendiary rounds. Okay.
Despite its cool new upgrades, you can be safe in the knowledge that the plasma cutter is exactly the weapon you love and remember. That can't be said for the rest of Dead Space's armory though, which has been significantly redesigned.
We wanted to rebalance a bit the weapons to make sure that each weapon felt powerful in their own way.
For most of the weapons,
Oh yeah, I missed that one. The Corsair weapon.
And they serve different function, in terms of the way you fight enemy. But we find out that there is something we could push even more, is to give more tools for the player to do something.
I mean, a circular assault, my fault.
When we have multiple enemies.
For example, what we did with the pulse rifle is that we took an element which was in Dead Space 2, it was a grenade launcher. We adjusted slightly because now it's a proximity mine. The force gun, we completely changed the alt fire. Now the force gun create that gravity well that attracts everything to it.
It brings everything together. You can just blow the shit up.
What's super interesting is that you can combine it with all other weapons. So with the primary fire of the force gun itself, with the trap of the light gun, so you can have fun, putting a trap, attracting, the enemy onto this place and putting them together, with the proximity mine of the pulse rifle. So basically, the idea was to create new tools to be able to play with enemies and create new strategy.
Okay.
This rethinking of Dead Space guns means that all your favourites are still here, but have been changed to be more useful and creative. That seems to be the general idea behind all the remake's changes, which we'll be looking at in more detail this month as part of IGN First. For more, check out the opening of the game in 4K, as well as the comparison between the remake and the original game.
Yeah,
and
we did
for
that.
even more exclusive Dead Space videos, stick with IGN.
Yeah, we reacted to these already. So yeah. I like how they basically just stripped down the design. Like, you see how simple the design was before? It's crazy because back in 2008, that was innovation. But now look at the detail that we have here. You could just see, you could just take one glance at it and see the enhancements. But it's still like true to the design of the original. Like it's true to the design of the original, but it's also a newer thing at the same time. I think that's dope. And the other weapons, I like how they added more variety to it. So this is truly gonna be like, you know, the definitive edition of Dead Space, in my opinion. I think that the fact that, you know, when you're upgrading it, it shows like each piece that you're upgrading as you're upgrading a weapon. That was cool too. And just how the enemies react. You could just see the difference in like how the enemies react to the weapons and the animations that come out of the weapons when you fire it and stuff like that. As far as the sound effects and the actual impact when it hits the enemies, like it's dope. It's dope. It was a nice little video. We're gonna keep covering these when they come out. We're gonna keep reacting to these when they come out. So if you don't want to hear me babbling, you can just go on IGN. But if you're here watching this, that means you fuck with the reactions, and I mean I fuck with you, and I appreciate you coming to the channel so we can chop it up, you know. And we're gonna be on the lookout for the next one. So y'all already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.